What's going on, folks? This is Tykisa, episode 17 of Tykisa's Tirade. I know it's kind of early this week, but I have two subjects to cover on this tirade, so let's get into it. All right, so first one we're going to go into is, well, actually, the title will be the same for both subjects. So, excuse me, what we're going to talk about here is this Nike, the fuckery has to stop, okay? Or the bullshit, or whatever you want to call it, but it has to stop. It just is getting redundant. Let's talk about the first subject. So, of course, what I'm going to do on this one, instead of it being 10 minutes, we'll do about 14 minutes long. So one being about 7, the other being about 7 minutes, but just trying to keep it short and sweet, but at the same time, trying to cover these subjects as best as I can without going too much off course. Now, the first one we're going to talk about here is just how, okay, well, let's take a look at the picture right here beside me. Now, as you folks know, getting shoes from across the water, international shoes as it were, you usually get them shipped over via 3 types. So you have your EMS, you have DHL, and then you have FedEx International, right? FedEx International has been the top out of the 3 for the last couple of months because they've been getting the packages over to America pretty quickly. DHL, they're doing the best they can, but they would need, or probably at the time last year, they were needing to hire more people to actually work, for DHL. So it does seem like now, with the packages coming in fairly quickly this year, that they have hired more people. So good job there, DHL. EMS is probably the slowest out of the 3 of them, so I'm not studying that shipping company at all. But I say all this to say this. Let's focus back on DHL, right? Now, we're so concerned about the retail replica. As I mentioned, I wasn't going to mention that word again unless it's in regards to a specific subject on my tirades. So we're talking about domestic international shoes. The packages come over from, let's just stick with DHL, from the supplier. The supplier sends the package over to you, the consumer, and then you get the package. Usually about 2 or 3 weeks, give or take, might be even faster, depending on how quickly they can pick up the package from Singapore, United Arab Emirates, or Bahrain, or wherever, you know what I'm saying? Wherever they send the package to be picked up, that's usually the timeline, because from there it usually goes, from that location to Hong Kong, from Hong Kong to possibly Germany, then from Germany over to the Cincinnati hub. At least that's how it works for me. But take a look at this right here. Now, as you can see, there's a GOAT.com listed on the page. Now, one of the parts that you see is, yes, one of my shoes that I will be reviewing in a few minutes came in today. And the transitional suede is immaculate, and thank goodness it is. But hey, that's for the review. Let's not focus on that here. So I was just sitting there talking to my fellow ShoeTube reviewers through Instagram, which you can hit me up on Instagram. Information's right over here for you. And a DHL notification comes through, and it showed this. It showed GOAT.com was sending a pair of shoes directly to my father's house from Hong Kong, China. So it makes me think, which we're almost halfway through, so let me try to wrap it up a little bit. It makes me think that, does it really matter if these are international or domestic shoes? If these are retail replicas when they're coming from the same source? Moments like this really makes it hard for a person to say, yeah, the materials are different. Yeah, this is different. Yeah, this is from a different, it's like, wow. I mean, no authentication needed. Like, they literally got the order, right? And they're shipping it from China to America. Why is there no authentication needed, Tykisa? That's because they are the source. They made the shoe. So why do they need to authenticate anything when they've actually put materials, stitching needle to stitching needle into materials to create the shoe itself? They've authenticated because they created it. It really helps to put things in perspective, just seeing that and seeing the process. The shoe I'm talking about is the LeBron Witness 5s in size 9. My dad wears a size 9 men's. As y'all may or may have not seen the video, please, here's the information right here. Just go check it out if you would. That's the thumbnail, so you can find it quite quickly. But it just makes me think, wow, like, why is it that we see this, but so concerned about retail fake replica UAs? Is, I haven't dropped the word UA in a while because I don't believe in unauthorized authentics no more, because the game has just gotten too shady. And it goes into our next segment that we're about to talk about in a few moments. But I don't, like, please, someone hit me up. If y'all are that concerned about retail rep, about it being different materials, about it being the same materials, comments below, Instagram below, okay? Well, not Instagram below, Instagram right here. Let's go with that, because that's confusing. It really is. You know what I mean? Like, how is it coming directly? Whew, it doesn't make sense, folks. That's all I'm saying. I don't want to go too long into it, because at the end of the day, it is a personal preference. You yourself have to decide what you want to do when it comes to getting these shoes. Now, yes, I got it from go.com. Yes, it's coming straight from Hong Kong, China, but as you can see in this picture right here, so is the rest of my packages. So which is it? What's going on? Is this a replica retail, a retail replica, or is it an international domestic shoe? Because it's supposed to be domestic only, but it's coming directly from international, from the source. So what the hell? Confusing, isn't it? Hey, I'm gonna let y'all decide. We're gonna move on just in a few seconds, but I will close with this. At the end of the day, I'm just gonna keep ordering these shoes, and I already know what's coming from the source. So all this other stuff, it's really starting to get to a point where I really don't give a fuck. It really is, especially after seeing something like this. Next. All right, on to the next segment. So this next segment we're gonna be talking about is something that I just found out about just recently that occurred, which is unfortunate. Basically what's happened is that Nike's North American head resigns after sneaker resale story spotlights her son's business. So we are talking about a young man named Joe, and he ran a resale business called West Coast Sneaker. Of course, I had to talk about this briefly, but we're not gonna get too deep into it. I'll just do about 7 minutes and I'm gonna keep it moving. But what is there really to be said, folks? Why are you angry? Why are you upset about this? Is this not what you wanted? And I know you're probably thinking like, well, Tykisa, what the hell are you talking about? I didn't ask to be scammed. I didn't ask to have shoes go up in resale value so much that I can't even afford to buy them. I get that. I do. But we're consumers, right? So it's only natural that as consumers, we want what we want as Americans, or as anybody that's watching this across the world. We want what we want, okay? And because of that, consumerism takes over, right? And then bots, which is what the young man used as it shows here, takes over and goes from there. But let's not go off of just speculation. Let's go off of facts here. So basically, it said that Ann Herbert, which you see her picture right here, VP and General Manager of Nike of the North American geography, had stepped down just 8 months after she was promoted to the role as part of the Swoosh Consumer Direct Offense strategy. Oh, really? That's a shame. I know you're probably thinking, man, if I could just fuck my son up right quick and just hit him with two pieces in the biscuit. I really, cause ma'am, let's see here, Miss Herbert, is it? Yeah, your son got you out some money. He really did you dirty. Either that or you were in on it, okay? And I'm just gonna leave it at that. The folks that are watching this video can speculate on their own, but ma'am, Miss Herbert, you were either in on it or you just love your baby boy so much that you're willing to let him get away with anything, which is not helping his cause whatsoever as a parent. But I digress, right? Because we're not here to talk about how to be a good parent. She left the company after 25 years. She made the decision to resign. And this move comes a few days after a released cover story featuring her son, Joe. Basically, it explains how he used her credit card to make the purchase. And that's the sad part about it, because it's like he says here that his mother was so high up that he never received information such as discount codes from her. He insisted, though, that she not be mentioned that she not be mentioned in the article, and cut off contact from the person that was interviewing him. Are you out your fucking mind, bro? Of course he's gonna mention it. This is a big story, and that's gonna help his career blossom, because that's all it's about in this place. Capitalism, everybody just has to climb on top of everybody to make it. So why would he do that to you? Makes sense to me, especially when you're using bots and practices that are immoral to make sure that you can purchase as many shoes as you need to make the money that you need to. Because at the end of the day, you're your own man. You do not need your mother to rely on to be a bigger businessman or better businessman. You are in charge of your own destiny. Your mother is not, right? But then you use her credit card. Boy, I tell you, as being a parent, shit like that would. Not only she probably kept cursing him out, but she might have even disowned him at this point. Who knows? You know what I'm saying? But again, this is just speculation. But being a parent, it really pisses you off when you tell your kids to do certain things and they turn around and do the opposite. And you're sitting there like, wow, like I literally just taught you. I just explained to you why you don't do that. And you did the exact opposite. And now I'm out of a job because your fucking ass don't know how to. And like I said, folks, my speculation about it is she was in on it. Yeah. How can you not be? Your son is running a sneaker resale company and you're not in on the tape? Man, get the fuck out of here. This is why this correlates to my last segment that I did on this tirade. It's starting to get to a point where who really gives a fuck, man? I don't know about y'all, but it's really hard not to become numb. Whether I buy them internationally or domestically or used, it's like, as long as I get the sneaker, because am I gonna get screwed either way? Whether the materials are not real, so then the shoes I'm buying is some type of pleather fake, or the resale value of the shoe that I bought is like 2 times more because, you know, fuck you as a consumer, I'm gonna make my money. Or it's a used shoe, so I have to spray the fuck out of it with Lysol because I don't expect GOAT to clean it for me, or any other third-party seller site to clean the shoe for me. They just wore the shoe, they sold it, and it's yours now. It's your decision and your responsibility to clean the shoe as thoroughly as possible before you put it on feet. I don't know. What I can say, my thoughts about the whole thing is it really that surprising? Most of y'all that are watching this should not be surprised whatsoever. This really actually should not be a shock. You should not be like, oh, I'm offended. What? How dare she? Like, how dare her son go against her like that? What? Yeah, she wasn't in on it. That's my belief. There's no fucking way. There is no fucking way she was not. And if she wasn't, man, you really let your son fuck you over this time, didn't you? Hopefully with your next job, you won't let him get that company card. Keep it to yourself like they told you to. All right.
Jump off the stage like yeehaw.